Virtual Campground is a community of RVers. We gather around the campfire to share stories, information, and travel tips that help you on your next adventure. Your camp hosts, Deborah and Barry Benton, are full-time RVers in search of quaint bookstores, cozy coffee shops with great Wi-Fi, and epic photography opportunities, all to share with you. So pull up your chair and join us in the Virtual Campground. Welcome to the Virtual Campground. So glad you are here. We are Barry and Deborah Benton, and we are your camp hosts.
We are.
And this is a very exciting week for a couple of reasons. One is we're discussing Holland, Michigan.
We are.
And some other parts about Western Michigan. But it's also your last time in the 50s. So we have a very special birthday coming up. So so we're heading over to the Watkins Glen area and
going to
celebrate with some friends. So we're excited about that.
I am excited about celebrating. Not so excited about the number, but I'm excited about celebrating. I know. Before everybody tells me it's fine, it's going to be fine. Yeah. It's just getting there.
That's right. So anyway, we have a jam-packed show for you. We've got, like I mentioned, the
first in our series on Michigan.
First in series, Holland, and then we've got a little Smashburgers recipe,
our first cooking
demo
segment.
kind of thing. Yeah,
this is something new we've decided to add, is some cooking for RVers, and we are very lucky in that we know somebody that's a very good chef.
Right. Wow.
And it's not one of us.
The Kempers are dear friends of ours, and they helped us out with this. So we just basically sat around, recorded them cooking for us, and then ate it all.
got to eat it.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
So that was a lot of fun.
Convince your friends that you want to make a video with them cooking, and then you get to enjoy the
That's
food.
right. It was all a ruse, but that's all right. And then we have a quick little book review, which is new. This is fun.
Good.
So we're going to do a really short, quick book review, and this is related to Michigan.
Yes.
So there's a reason for it. And then, so
just
quick
some
show.
fun.
Yep.
There we go.
All
Let's get started.
Let's get into it. First, a commercial. Not really commercial.
Commercial, okay.
Not really commercial. Just wanted to remind everyone about the merchandise on the website. So if you go to thevirtualcampground.com, you'll see the store.
Get a beautiful hat like this.
So yeah, that's right.
Or a wonderful t-shirt.
And t-shirts, hats, all that sort of stuff. So if you don't see what you like, give us a suggestion, and we'll see if we can't add it to the store.
Absolutely.
So enough about that. Let's roll the tape on Holland, Michigan. So this is the first in a series of Michigan.
Yep, we're going to talk about Michigan.
Yeah, we spent quite a bit of time there. Yeah, spent quite a bit of time there, and had some great visits along the way. The first one was Holland. So let's look at a map. So
you see there the blue.
Yeah, the blue near Grand Rapids, Western Michigan.
Yep. So we're going to talk a little bit about parts of that. We didn't see all of Western Michigan. We didn't go to Kalamazoo, which is a fun thing to say.
Yeah.
But yes, we're going to talk about great spots like Holland, obviously, Grand Haven, and Saginaw. And Grand Rapids.
Yes. This has been on our bucket list for quite some time.
Yes.
We're hearing so many great things about Michigan in general. And I had heard about Holland, so I decided, well, we need to get up there. Let's just start on that western edge and then make our way up through the city.
Absolutely.
So
we didn't realize, obviously the name Holland, you would think, but it has a very strong Dutch influence.
Yes, so in 1846, if I recall.
If you recall,
there was a group of Dutch that came over and created an agricultural port.
Yeah.
And that's what really started it all. And then there was a college, and then
that college is still there.
It's now it's called Hope College. Yeah.
Yep.
So
pretty little college.
Yeah, very pretty. And so that started it all. So there is a huge Dutch influence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And we'll be showing some pictures of that. Now it's not only home to Hope College, there's also a Heinz ketchup place there, and Chris Craft, which we passed and saw some beautiful boats. So when is the best time to go, do you think, to Holland?
Well, let's talk about tulips, because that's really what it's known for.
Yes. Because just like in the Netherlands, it's all about the tulips.
It's all about the tulips. So if you are really into flowers, then the best time to go is going to be when the tulips.
Specifically tulips.
Yeah, specifically tulips. Then when they're blooming is the best time to go, and that's going to be sometime around early May-ish.
Yeah, they have a huge annual tulip time festival, and that started in the 1920s and has been going very strong since then. Usually around the first Saturday of May, for about a week. So a great time to go is obviously during the Tulip Time Festival, but you could also go towards the end of April and they would likely be blooming. And did you know that they plant more than 5 million, that's with an M, million bulbs?
Get out.
So we were there just a wee bit too late. Yeah. We got there.
We saw the remnants.
We did. We obviously saw some tulips because we have pictures of them. But we didn't get to see the great mass flood of fields of tulips.
No, we saw photos and it looks amazing.
It does look amazing. So I would like to go back and see it at some point. That would be way cool. But yeah, so you can go and do that. It's also, I think that area would be really neat to see in the winter. Yeah. They have, did you know, in Holland, specifically in Holland, they have a snow melt system. So you can walk around the streets and sidewalks and no snow in Holland, Michigan.
Wow,
so very easy to walk around. I know. Yeah. And it's some of these areas that we saw that would normally be filled with fields of tulips are great cross-country skiing areas. So people that like to do that, we are not in shape enough to do that. So we don't do that. But there's a lot of great opportunities to do that.
We could do it for a short period of time.
Short periods of time. So the other great thing, the other indicator of the Dutch heritage in Holland is, of course,
windmills.
A windmill.
So
specifically a windmill. And again, going back to the Tulip Festival, that picture would normally have in front of it about 1 million tulips if you were there during the right time of year. So that's kind of cool.
Very cool.
So so that. Do you want to go ahead and talk about the Dutch village and the windmills?
We can talk about that. Well, before we get there, though, there is this, you mentioned parks earlier. There is one park called Centennial Park, I think, that was a nice little park, and that had an interesting feature in it that was related to your love of books, if I recall.
That's right. So I guess Frank Baum, who wrote The Wizard of Oz, had a summer cottage not far from Holland. So they have in the middle of Centennial Park during certain times of year. Sadly, was not up while we were there. It was in the greenhouse still, but it is a flowering book, large book, like over 12 feet tall book of from the Wizard of Oz. Now across the street they also have some statues next to the library that represent the different characters in the Wizard of Oz. So that's kind of a fun little thing. And if you're in Centennial Park, plus it's also a great place again to see tulips, and where we saw quite a few that were still in bloom.
Yeah, so most of those pictures we showed earlier were from
Centennial Park. Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about that Dutch village.
Okay.
There is a really cool history to this whole village. It is an authentic Dutch windmill that, and they had to jump through a lot of hoops, about 3 years of negotiating, because the Dutch consider these windmills part of their cultural heritage, and they don't just give them out to anybody. But this windmill had been damaged during World War II, and they allowed Holland to buy it under certain specific conditions, and one of those is that a gentleman that was known to be a windmill restorer came along with the windmill to help restore it and put it in its right place.
Very nice. Okay.
So they created this village all around it, and really pretty cool.
So the actual windmill is over 200 years old, and it's there set up in a park that's about 36 acres. It has, as you're showing, some really neat features in the Dutch village for kids, like the carousel. It has a drawbridge, and of course some great shops that will sell you a lot of Dutch-inspired merchandise.
That's right. Always willing to sell you something. This is a kayaker going down the little stream there, little river there, canal. It was a pretty cool little park. Was nice. Sorry, so Dutch, that's one of those must-see places. I mean, it's really pretty small. Pay a small fee, you walk through. It's a nice way to spend a little afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the biggest features in, of course, Holland.
That's right.
But Holland itself was really a cute little downtown
Yes, it
area. Real easy main street to walk up and down. Quite a few good coffee shops, and a fabulous farmers market. This is one of my favorite farmers market in that at first it was full and had actual farmers in the market, so actual produce.
What a concept.
But it also had a covering, which worked out pretty well because it was a rainy day when I was there. So what's the other big feature of Holland?
Well, there are lots of lighthouses everywhere along Michigan, along all the Great Lakes.
Oh, my
of course,
goodness.
when you come up to this part of the world, you're just going to hear all about all kinds of lighthouses. So there is the Holland State Park, which features, I believe this is called Big Red.
Yep, Big Red. Yep.
So, but we went out there. This was our first stop. We got there, I guess the next day we went there, and it was pretty darn cold.
It was a little chilly, maybe I look a little chilly there. Yeah, a little bit chilly. Yeah, it looks a little rough in that picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was really windy and really cold, but nice little park right there near downtown Holland.
So in this Holland State Park, you can drive straight up into it, and basically be able to walk out and around. You can't walk to the lighthouse from Holland State Park, but there are some, obviously, that what do you call those things with
piers?
the rocks? Piers.
Well, they're not piers.
No,
they're breakwaters.
Yes, breakwaters. You can walk a bit out there. There's also an area before you get to the entrance of this state park. There's an area they call Mount Pisgah, and that is one of the best views of the Big Red. And you can bicycle from it up into Holland Park. There's quite a bit of bike lanes around there. So you can walk up. It's about 236 steps up this staircase to take you above sea level so you'd have a really good view. So that's another option. The secret, too, we found out later was, because we saw people walking up to the lighthouse, and we couldn't figure out. So we drove around, and that's when we saw the Chris Craft. We drove by Chris Craft. Down that road called South Shore Drive. Yep. And we got to a guard shack.
A gated
area with a guard shack. And so we thought, okay, well, we stopped and turned around. Well, later we found out we could have just asked the guard, we just want to go see the lighthouse. They would have given us a place to park, and then we would have walked over to the lighthouse. So we could have gotten closer. Certain times I think it has been open in the past. I'm not sure. It wasn't open when we were there, but we could have at least gotten closer to it. So you can do that when you go. So don't be afraid when you get to the guard. So, and then the other big area, so you have Holland State Park, which is a big entrance. There is a beach area there as well. And then the other big beach area is over in Tunnel Park. Isn't that what they call it? Yep.
So yes, Tunnel Park is worth to go see. There is a small entrance fee. It's a county park or some sort of preserve or something. It was around $7, if I recall. Yep. And it's a small park. They have a playground and kids. There's a big dune right off the playground. You want to be careful there. You've got two options. You can scramble up the big dune.
Full of sand.
Full of sand. I mean, it's a
very tall,
fairly steep. We saw a family do this, loaded down with all their beach gear and the kids and all that, and they were really having a rough time. But the other way to get there is just through this tunnel. You just walk up.
Which is what we did.
Yeah, a little bit of an incline.
You walk on a sidewalk.
Yeah, sidewalk up a little incline through this tunnel, which goes underneath the big sand dune, and then you emerge out to this beautiful little beach.
Which was a really cool ta-da moment as you came through the tunnel.
Yeah. So really nice. We eventually saw that family. We know they're safe. We eventually saw them enter in.
coming over
coming the other side. And they got busy on the beach. But so really nice little place to visit. But remember to go through the tunnel, unless you want the exercise.
Some people would like the exercise, absolutely. In addition to all the things that you do in Holland, it's also a great jumping off point for a lot of other really cool little spots. So good day trips, basically. You can take from Holland. It's a good central area. You can go down as far as St. Joseph's and Benton. We did not get that far, but that's another very popular lighthouse and beach area. But we did go down to one of the more popular spots called Saginaw. I think that's how you pronounce it. Almost everything we say about Michigan, please just forgive us if we've mispronounced it.
Give us some grace on this.
Texas tongues don't say Michigan words, we found very well. But Saginaw is...
Saugatuck.
No, I don't think it has a T in it. Oh, it does have a T. You're right. Saugatuck. So Saugatuck is a really cute beach town, very artsy, lots of galleries and places where you can find handcrafted items, good restaurants. Just a nice little town to walk around in, very popular. You'll see it actually as one of the places you must visit when you go to Michigan. So we encourage you to go see it.
Yep.
Absolutely. We did also, that is the place where you can go for a dune ride. So again, we couldn't figure out if we could do it in our Jeep. We figured we could not. It was specifically you would purchase a ticket and go on this dune ride, which is basically a big long Jeep that takes you over the dunes. So that is something lots of people do.
Yep.
And it did look like a lot of fun. The next place that we did go to was Grand Haven.
Yes.
And Grand Haven State Park is where we actually purchased our state park pass.
Yes, and you'll want to do that.
Yes.
If you are going to spend any time in Michigan, you're going to want to purchase. It's $36 for the year,
I think that's right.
And pays for itself pretty quickly if you spend time in Michigan.
Or if you camp at all in one of the state parks, you're going to be required to have it. So you might as well get it the first one you go to. And then we had so many entry into different state parks, whether we were camping there or just visiting, so definitely worth it. Grand Haven was gorgeous. We were there a little before, obviously, sunset. You got some great pictures of the lighthouse there. I talked to this family, so this is amazing to me. Grand Haven State Park is right on the beach. And I asked the lady, what did you have to do to get this spot? And she said she had to be up and online right as the date opened, which is 6 months prior to the date she wanted to be there at 8 a.m. to click it and hope that she got that spot. So the spots along the beach are probably best for the bigger rigs, honestly. When I walked through the state park, it was a little tight, that state park, and some of the spots are a little awkwardly aligned. So if you have a big rig, I would absolutely suggest that you try to get one of the ones along the beach, if at all possible. If you're like us and can't plan 6 months in advance, you cannot stay at the state park.
Right.
But it is a fun little town. We walked around that as well. There were a couple of breweries, cute downtown. It was a nice walk along the water. A lot of people were jogging and biking along the water. We went and had ice cream and sat there and watched the fishing charters come in.
Yeah, it was nice little town. Nice little place.
Highly can recommend Grand Haven for a visit. I also went from Holland out to Grand Rapids.
Yes.
You and I went one day and met some friends at a brewery, but I also went one day because I am determined to see most of the presidential libraries, and Gerald Ford has his library, or actually has his museum in Grand Rapids. His library is in Ann Arbor. So the museum was a very nice way to get an overview. I enjoy presidential libraries because it gives you a good overview of the history during that president's time. This one in particular covered his boyhood from when he was in Michigan and went to college in Michigan all the way up until after his presidency. So very interesting. There's also a cool little market that was inside that I got to go to a cheese shop and a couple other restaurant things area not far from the museum. So it was an interesting place to visit. Lots of neat bridges in Grand Rapids and some museums and things if you want to do other things. Plus, of course, a nice brewery or two. Always popular.
Yeah, that's right.
The other thing about Holland in particular, and really most of Michigan, we noticed this a lot.
We saw a lot of bike paths.
Yep.
And plenty of people out biking. It was, very popular.
There's even one bike route you can take from Indiana all the way up to Canada. I think it's Route 35, something like that. Obviously not something I'm going to be doing. But if you're a really avid biker, there were a lot of, I think it said 150 miles of biking paths in and around Holland. You could bike for sure from Holland all the way to Saugatuck or up to Grand Haven. Some of it you might be along roads, but a lot of it is a bike path. We were really surprised with some of the routes, some of the paths or roads that we were on. like in particular the one from Holland to Sagatock, that you couldn't really see the water.
Yeah.
Lots of trees or houses. So
a lot of private land, like a lot of these lakes, just a lot of private land right along the lakeshore.
Really nice houses.
Really nice houses. Yeah.
Nice houses, you can tell, are only weekend houses. People come up, I think, from Chicago, the 2 hours, and have a time there.
Yeah.
But Grand Haven in particular would be a really easy place to bike around. It had a lot of bike routes and a good walk.
Yep.
So anyway, so that's pretty much what we did from and around Holland. Yep. We're going to talk about campgrounds?
Sure. Let's talk about campgrounds. So we stayed out at a place called Dutch Treat. And it was one of those campgrounds. It was nice.
It was fun.
It was one of those mix of seasonal and people that were coming in for just tourism. So, but it was quiet. They actually had this section out in the back that I can't recall. We had electrical hookups.
Did we have electrical?
I think we had electrical hookups, and that's
only.
it. So yes, but it was fine. We had good cell service there, and it was a fine park.
It was fine. But the state parks, a lot of them do have camping. Holland State Park did have some camping right off of the beach, so that would be a good place for people to stay. And Grand Haven, as we showed you, did as well. So if you want to do state parks in Michigan, though, I will tell you, you have to be right online 6 months in advance. I think a lot of Michiganders like to RV as well, but they usually RV near home.
Yeah.
So they know where they want to be, and they are there ready to book it because they know when they're going to be there. So if anybody from outside of Michigan wants to stay at a state park, it is really important to get online 6 months to the date before you want to stay there.
Plan early. So let's talk a little bit about what were your favorite spots in that Holland area.
So I enjoyed almost all of the places we went to, really. It'd be hard to pick. My favorite places were probably the farmer's market, because I love farmer's markets, and that was a really good one. And also I really enjoyed this particular coffee shop. It's called 6-8. I went there several times to work, and they were kind of fun in that they also have a big business kind of done out of the back of the coffee shop, so to speak, that they are selling products that help women that have been victimized by trafficking, sexual trafficking. It was also in this really cool building that used to be a clock building where they made clocks.
That's
so
pretty
when you
cool.
So when you went into the main halls, there were clocks and some neat displays, and just they had taken really good care of this building. It was now had a lot of offices and things in it. So 6-8 Coffee Shop is a great place to stop for a drink, and that's actually in Zeeland, Holland, which is really Dutch Treat. The campground we were in was just outside of Zeeland.
Yeah. I think technically its address was Zeeland.
Zeeland, yes. And Zeeland is a cute little town. It also had a little downtown area with some shops. Not as big as Holland for sure, but a good place to spend a half a day.
Yeah.
So I would, if you were going there for one day, what do you think you would do?
Well, I think Holland is so small. I mean, you do that. You do the Dutch
Village.
Dutch Village.
And the windmill.
Yeah, and then you go out to see the Little Red or Big Red. Lighthouse. And then I would get over to one of the other state parks. Holland State Park is where Big Red is, right?
Absolutely.
So you've got that one taken care of. And what's the other one? The
Grand Haven North, or I would probably do the windmill and the Dutch Village, go down to downtown Holland and have lunch. There was a brewery down there called Our Brewer. I thought that was kind of a fun name, just called Our. You could tell your wife, I'm going to Our Brewery. And then I would probably head down to, after I visited the state park, I would go down to Sagatock and have dinner.
There you go.
That's what I think I would do.
There you go.
Or if you're the kind of person that likes to have an afternoon on the beach, then there are certainly several beaches to pick from.
I don't know if we'll ever make it back to Holland, but if we do, if it does end up being on our path, then I wouldn't mind being there when the tulips are in full bloom. I think that's the time. That's obviously the perfect time to be there because that's what it's known for.
Right.
Certainly, it would be interesting to be there when it's colder, but it's going to be really cold.
And I actually think if we were going back in the wintertime, I would want to go actually further north, which is sort of counterproductive. But yeah, if we were going, there are some other spots we're going to talk about in the future that probably I would go back to for those. But I would come back to this area, as you said, to see the tulips in bloom. Maybe stay down in the Sagatuck area so we could see a little bit more of St. Joseph and Benton and over to Kalamazoo, areas that we haven't seen yet.
Yep. All right, so hope you enjoyed that.
Hopefully it helped you with your planning for Michigan.
We had a great time.
And we have more coming in that series as we spent a lot of time in Michigan. So we're going to do Traverse City, Upper Peninsula, and then the eastern side of Michigan. It's a big state.
All right, so I think that's it for Holland, Michigan.
Absolutely.
So thanks for being here. We'll have some links below for more information. We hope this helps you plan your trip to Holland, Michigan.
Have fun.
All right, enough about that.
Yes.
Let's talk food.
He just is really excited about this next segment.
I am. This is a cool video.
It's our first one in our cooking series.
That's right. So let's roll the tape and let's talk about Smashburgers.
Roll that tape.
So, tell me what you did here.
You got bacon, thick cut bacon, apple smoked, added honey killer bee and cosmos on the bacon. It gives you a little bit of sweetness to the whole thing. It'll be an all cosmos 4th of July.
All right, what do we have going on here?
3 pounds of ground beef right here.
And what's the blend there? Do you know?
I think it's 85%.
80-20.
80-20. And so we want about 8-ounce balls. So we'll just form this in balls. Let's see where we're at on this first one. I guess I'm way over. Pounds, ounces. So that's an 8-ounce ball, 7.8. Is that close enough?
Close enough.
Close enough. So that's 1 ball. I'll hit it with a little bit of cow cover from Cosmos. And then make a few more. And then I've pre-sliced the onions fairly thin. Some people like to smash these into the burger. I like to cook them separately. So I got 2 ounces of butter here. 2 tablespoons, I'm sorry, not tablespoons of butter. I like to use a little SPG on my onions. Adds a little pop. Mixes nice with the cow cover. And then finally with the bacon, you hit it with a little bit of sweet on the bacon with that stuff. So we're going to give this a try, see if we can't screw it up.
Okay, so we're going to air fry some sweet potato fries. These are from frozen. You can look up recipes to do them fresh also, but it's basically super easy. All we do is just pull that out. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of oil so we can, it's already non-stick, but it's a good idea to just hit it with a little bit beforehand. An even layer, and the key with the air fryers is that you don't want to have things overlapping because you lose the crispiness. So go like this. Try and keep it from overlapping as much as possible. 1 little layer of fries. And we'll test this out. Recipe says to do 12 minutes at 400. Okay. So I'm going to put this at 400. There's all kinds of other settings and stuff, but pretty much I just tweak the temperature and the time. And then it's at 12 minutes. We'll let it rip, wait 12 minutes, and see what we got.
What are you doing?
I'm just cooking up some onions over here, Barry. What are you doing? Got a little butter, thinly sliced. Hit them with a little SPG. Look to be crisping up nicely. With those cooked, we'll let the plate get up to heat. And not too much SPG, just get a little bit on there. You can see it. Hit it a little bit, gives it a little extra flavor. I think we're at temperature-wise. Plate's at 400 degrees, so it's getting close to ready for the burgers. Typically you want about 450, 425. We'll put them back on once the burgers get close. just to heat them up. And then I add them to the burgers. And then before I put the cheese on, I throw the onions underneath the cheese. So if somebody doesn't like onions, oh, it's too bad. And spread some of this logo on for the burgers. And for the burgers, typically what you'd have is a fairly decent sized smash deal for them. I don't. I went to True Valley this morning. They were closed, so I couldn't get one. So you'll take your 7.8 ounce balls, slap it on there, and mash it down. And that is going to be quite a bit bigger than the bun, Barry. You are correct. We're going to definitely have more burger than bun. But that smash, you just let her sear there. Probably be able to get 4 of them on here. That's generally how it's done. Now if you use the fish mashing tool, which they didn't have at Ace Hardware in St. Ignace, make it a little flatter. You could probably go with a 6 ounce ball and be really good. And then just give them a little bit of more cow cover once we get them going. Not a ton. Don't want to overkill it. Just enough to give you a little added flavor. And these puppies are going to be ready to turn here in a minute. They went from about 420 degrees to 300 degrees, so it dropped a little bit of temperature with those burgers going on here. These were the first ones on, so let's see what they look like. Not horrible. And the flavors, oh look at that. Nice greasy smash burger.
So we're counting down, but I think, yeah, I want to get these out now. So, because they're getting a little crispy. So since I'm doing small batches, because you can only do so much at a time, I'm going to pull these out. I'm just going to wrap them in some tin foil really quick to keep them warm while I cook the other ones.
Here. So on the ones that are ready for cheese, we'll get those onions on them. These 4 here, this 2 are first, second, these were third. Once I get that going, we're going to have to get the buns toasting on this side. Just like that.
Really made me hungry. Yeah, so it made me hungry. It made me want to stand up and salute. So
yes, I hope everybody stood up and saluted that hamburger. And we just want to say that thank you to the Kempers, obviously, yes. But also if you ever want to get a free meal out of somebody, just tell them you're going to record them.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is a great way to get fed.
That's
it was a wonderful way to celebrate the 4th of July.
It was. We had a blast. So thank you, Kempers, and hope you enjoyed that. And hope.
And you're going to be making me a Smashburger sometime in the next week. I'm just telling you.
Right. You're going to be by me in Blackstone, and then I'll make you the.
Okay.
All right. So
let's move on then to the next thing. Quick,
right.
before I have to buy a Blackstone.
Yeah. One of the things you know about Deborah is that she loves books, and so and one of the cool things is that she sometimes gets books that are related to the places that we're going to travel.
I try.
And so, yeah, so that happened just recently. So
it did. So I wanted to talk to everybody about this book again, since we were talking about Michigan. There was a book that serendipity happened in that I picked this book, or I actually had ordered it from the library, and it came up for me to borrow right as we got to Holland. So I got started on The Firekeeper's Daughter, and found out it takes place in Michigan. So that was very
convenient as that.
Very convenient. It actually takes place up in the Sault Ste. Marie area. The woman that wrote it, Angeline Bouley, she is a member of the Chippewa tribe from that area. And this was one of my favorite parts of this book. It has a lot of Native American culture in it. They use a lot of the words. I actually did this on audio, and it was fantastic because they showed you or obviously heard how they say the words, which was fabulous, because we were encountering a lot of these words when we were up in that area and had no idea how to say things like the tribe names and other things. So this was exciting to hear it, and it was a great story. The story really is a hard story. It could be triggering for some people because there are some harsh things in there. There is murder, drug use, there's rape, and violence against some women, or they discuss the violence against women quite much. So that it is, though, I think very realistic for what is happening today and what many people are having to face, especially in the Native American community. And so I thought that it was a very appropriate book to read for the place and the time we were, and I loved how it did bring forward just the beauty of the culture. The story is actually a genre of young adult, but I really read it as an adult book. She's about 19, I think, or 20 in the book. And it covers a girl that is actually mixed white and Native American, and she goes undercover with the FBI to help find who is hurting her tribe. In particular, there's a meth lab and a lot of drug use and selling. So she is helping the FBI figure out what's behind all this and help to save her tribe. So really a great story, great, timely right now, and obviously timely because we were in Michigan. So I highly recommend The Firekeeper's Daughter.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
that book review.
You're
Deborah.
welcome. More to come in the future, hopefully. So let's talk about the community corner. So besides the obvious celebration you've already discussed, and
Your
we don't need to
birthday.
discuss again.
Yeah. Should we sing happy birthday?
No, we should not. Feel free to type it in the notes, but no, let's not sing. At any rate, the person that I wanted to mention is we have a new addition to the community.
Yes.
We have our good friends, the Kempers, who you saw in the Smashburger video, have added someone to their family. This is Poppy.
So adorable. A papillon.
A papillon puppy, yes. Let's say that 3 times.
Just
Poppy the
bouncy.
papillon puppy.
Bouncy little puppy. I've never seen a puppy so bouncy.
No, she really should have been named Tigger. She is definitely a bouncy, but adorable. Loves to play with that green, whatever that thing is, and looks a little bit like a toy, don't you think?
Yeah,
but anyway,
yeah.
Really cute. We look forward to seeing Poppy in the future as she matures into a dog.
That's right.
But really adorable puppy. And if you have a new addition to your family, puppy or human, please feel free to send us a picture. We'd love to celebrate him or her. Or if you have any other things to celebrate, such as anniversaries and birthdays, we'd love to tout you in the news.
That's right.
Yes. So I'm wondering,
What's that, Deborah?
do you have any jokes for us this
Oh
week?
my gosh, I'm so glad you asked.
Oh.
So, why did the chocolate leave the graham cracker for the marshmallow?
I don't know. Why did the chocolate leave the graham cracker for the marshmallow?
Because it liked its s'more. Get it?
Oh, I do.
Get it?
I love s'mores.
So there's your
Not that joke so much, but I love s'mores.
There's your campfire joke of the week, folks.
Use
All
that at the next fire you're at. All right, let's talk about one other thing that is near and dear to our hearts.
That would be Camp Carpe Diem.
Camp Carpe Diem. That's
Coming
exactly
up,
right.
Coming up October 23rd.
And time is running out. If you have been sitting on the fence about this and wanting to join us, this is the week. You should move on it, because the Lake Rutledge, where we are planning to have it at the campground, they are ending our block on July 31st. So after that, there's a good chance they would sell out. This is a very popular time. Fall in the Pisgah Forest is gorgeous. Another reason for you to come and join us, but it's also very popular, so they could sell out. And we actually are very near to selling out Camp Carpe Diem. So please, if you're planning to join us, and we really hope you are, we'd love to meet you in person, then please get your tickets soon.
That's right. I'm excited about it.
I am excited about it too. So next week, what are we going to talk about next week?
Well, probably several things, but we will touch on Starlink just to give you an update on that. And
We're going to do a nice segment on Starlink so you can explain how and what it is and how we're using it.
That's right.
Exactly. Great. And then please hit the thumbs up button. And how else can people help us?
Share this with your friends, travel-loving friends and family, and look at some of our past episodes. Play those. Heck, even if you play them
just turn
with
them
the
on.
sound off, just turn them on. Go about your business. Subscribe if you're not a member, and hit that thumbs up, and I think that's it.
Yeah, please hit the reminder button so you get any new ones that we put out. And that's about it.
If you have any questions, put them in the comments below.
Yeah, please.
And thanks for being here. Until we can see you in person sometime, see you in the virtual campground.
See you around the campfire.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and hit the road. I just got an awesome vibe.